or welcome if you're new here. My name is Jasmine. This is little Lola, who always joins me on every single video. I feel like she's just part of the video now all the time, because as soon as I hit record, she starts to jump up and wants to come on my knee, and it's very cute. So she'll just be sleeping whilst I'm filming this video. Anyway, my name is Jasmine. If you're new here, I make faith and lifestyle videos. I share my journey, my health journey with chronic illnesses and my heart conditions, and I just share the goodness of God through my journey, share my testimony, how I trust God through it all, and things like that, and just make faith videos to encourage you all, and yeah, just to encourage your heart and in your situation, whatever you may be facing. So in this video today, I wanted to just share a little bit of news that I had at the doctor's a couple of months ago now, and in that situation with what the doctors said, how I deeply still trust God and keep looking to him through it all. And I just really hope this will resonate with someone today, that it will encourage your heart and encourage you in your situation, whatever you are facing. As I've mentioned here on my videos quite a few times, I have 2 severely leaking heart valves and have congenital heart disease. I also have pulmonary hypertension, and if you don't know what that is, that's basically when you have elevated pressures in your lungs, which cause breathlessness. You know, I can't walk very far due to breathlessness and struggle with certain tasks due to that, and many other symptoms. So I had a recent cardiology appointment, probably quite a few months ago now, and in that I had the usual echo scan done, and then we met with the cardiologist afterwards, and he basically said to us, you know, with the way that your heart is and all the conditions and complications that you have, you do need heart surgery. You know, you need open heart surgery again. And I've had open heart surgery 3 times in the past. Had it when I was younger, had them done when I was younger, and then I had it done. So yeah, I've had a lot of surgeries and procedures done with my heart. I've had 3 open heart surgeries, many keyhole procedures. My most recent one was obviously in London, which I've spoken about before. And yeah, the doctor basically was just saying you do need heart surgery again. But because of all your complications with your health and your other issues and your complex history with your health, there's no more that we can do for you. You know, you're not suitable for treatment. And especially with what happened in London when I had the huge bleed, and you know, things got very close and very scary. You know, with that as well, he just said it's way too much of a risk and you would not make it through if you were to have surgery. Now obviously when the doctors say to you, no, there's no what that you can do, we can do for you, and you can't have the surgery, you know, it's quite daunting and difficult words to hear. It's a lot to process in that moment, and that kind of news does weigh heavy. And yeah, so yeah, right now both of my valves, my mitral valve and my tricuspid valve, are severely leaking, which is causing a lot of symptoms already in itself. And my symptoms are, you know, starting to arise, get more difficult daily. And obviously, you know, he was saying, as you know, this could lead to heart failure, obviously, if left untreated. You know, we know that, which is why obviously I do need the surgery. But he said, you know, you can't have the surgery that you need because you just wouldn't make it through. And he also spoke to a team in Bristol who we were kind of hoping that might have a solution, might be able to offer keyhole surgery again, might be able to offer something else. But again, they just agreed with him and said, yeah, you know, Jasmine isn't suitable for treatment. There's nothing that we could do. Even keyhole would be too much of a risk now. It's pretty much saying any other person who doesn't have the complications with their health that you do would go straight for surgery. They'd be an ideal candidate for surgery. They'd go straight for surgery, have their open heart surgery, everything would be fixed and done. But because of everything else, the surgery would just be too much of a risk. And he just, yeah, like I said you would not survive surgery, and we wouldn't even attempt to try because it would just be too risky for you. And so yeah, even though my valves do need fixing, my body just won't tolerate the surgery, pretty much, or the process of even fixing or attempting surgery. So yeah, like I said, that kind of news does weigh heavy, and it is hard because things are worsening with my symptoms. Things are getting harder, you know, even just simple tasks like getting dressed, walking down the stairs, walking Lola, you know, as much as I try to walk Lola, most days it is so difficult. Even just going down the road, going up and down our driveway is hard. Making my bed, just short little tasks like that are really difficult because of the pulmonary hypertension, because of the symptoms that come from the leaking heart valves. And you know, when we were in that appointment, me and my mum said to the doctor, you know, is this it? Like, what now? And he said pretty much, yeah, this is it. You know, your symptoms will arise, they will start to come up, maybe get worse, and the only thing that we can do, or you can do, is if your symptoms do get significantly bad and really bad and your heart goes tachycardic again, then it's an ambulance into hospital, and that's pretty much it. So with this news and in the midst of it, you know, I wanted to talk about, what does trusting God look like through that? You know, what does trusting God look like when you're faced with some difficult diagnosis, when you're faced with difficult news from the doctors, when you're trusting God in the midst of such difficulty with health, and kind of when doctors say to you, this is it, no more that we can do. And obviously I've been told that so many times with all of my health conditions that I've got. There's no cure, you know, there's no easy fix to it. There's no like, yep, this is it, you're going to be better. And yeah, and I wanted to speak specifically about, how do I trust God through when the doctors say there's no more we can do for you? Because so many people have asked me this before online, like, how do you still trust God through that? How do you still look to God through this? Like, your strength is amazing, but my strength only comes from Him. That is how I get my strength through this. And yeah, I wanted to speak specifically about that because I did do a blog post on that, and I felt really called to also share this here and just be a bit more open and vulnerable about it, and really share what it is like daily with my health and how God speaks to me in that, what trusting Him looks like through that. And yeah, that is always my aim from these videos. And yeah, like I said, I just hope this encourages you, whoever is watching out there today. Me, trusting God through this is just a daily walk. As simple as that. It's something that I implement in and through every single day and declare every single day. It's something that I say to God, you know, each morning, God, whatever symptoms arise today, or however I may feel today, whatever, you know, pain that may come with the chronic pain that I face, I trust you through this. You know, whatever the appointment brings today, no matter how the treatment goes today, you know, I trust you. And it's a daily declaration that I choose and have to make every single day, because obviously when you face chronic illnesses every day, you know, it's really hard to, I think I said this in the last video, like, it can be really hard to deal with that every day. But I also think that every day we also have a choice with those of us that have chronic illnesses, to either, you know, look to what's around us, or look up to God, who gives us strength and who we can put our trust in and who is our firm foundation. And you know, I do this because putting my trust in God is what helps me through. It's the strength that I need each day, even when I don't feel strengthened physically myself, and I don't have a lot of physical strength because of the limitations and the weaknesses that I have due to my health conditions. You know, I know that I can lean on His strength that is always sufficient for me, and His strength and His peace that surpasses all understanding. And it's trusting in Him is what strengthens me, and it what gives me that all-surpassing peace in the middle of the valley and in the hardship. You know, it's His peace that comes from trusting Him that guards my heart and guards my mind. And I put my trust in the one who is all peace and who brings all peace to every single situation, even when the situation is so hard and so daunting and so overwhelming. You know, I've got to choose who I put my trust in, and choose to not look to what I see around me and the difficulty of what is around me, but look to Him who leads me through it all. As it says in Proverbs 3:5, when I don't understand, you know, when I'm questioning and when I don't understand what's going on with my health and things are uncertain, you know, and when things don't have a clear plan, like with now my health doesn't have a clear plan, there is no plan, there's nothing they can do anymore. You know, I, like it says in Proverbs 3:5, put my trust in the one who does understand it all, and the one who knows it all, and who holds all things together, and who holds me. You know, when I don't understand, I know that He does. And I know that His ways, His thoughts, His promises are much higher and greater than any of my own. and his promises are far above what the doctors can say. So I continue to put my trust in him for healing, for strength every single day, and for healing, and not choosing to always be fixated on what the doctors say, but choosing to be fixated on what he says, and continue to pray for that healing even though I don't see it yet and have it yet. Also choose, like I said in the last video, to dwell in his house, and dwelling on his house is dwelling upon his word, and dwelling upon his promises that keep me, that hold me, that strengthen me, and that give me peace while he walks alongside me through all of this. It's in those moments when I'm in hospital or I'm going through treatment and it's difficult and it's hard, and when the doctors bring when things are uncertain and they bring tough diagnoses and news, I go straight to his word where all truth and good truth is found. There's so much truth and goodness, as I said in my last video, in his word, and that is where I want to dwell and want to be, just in his presence and in his word, and upon him. And daily trusting for me also looks like declaring his goodness daily, because God's goodness isn't just there when we're going through times of joy and all things are great and we've got the good news. His goodness isn't dependent on our circumstances, it's dependent on who he is. And that is why I'm also so grateful. And it's about gratitude as well. Daily trusting also looks like declaring his goodness over and over, because his goodness isn't dependent on our circumstances. His goodness is dependent on who he is, because he is good. And it's choosing to declare, that I am grateful because I'm sat here today still. God's brought me through so much. I shouldn't be sat here today, but I am because of God. And I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for his goodness that has led me through every single situation that I have been in. And I've been through some tough situations. I've been through so many situations where they say, we don't know if she's going to make it through. But I did, because of the Lord. And I just dwell on that, and I choose to be grateful no matter what, because I have a good God with me who strengthens me. And the other day I spoke at church and shared my testimony on the fact that, doctors have told me there's no more they can do for me regarding my heart condition, and things with my health uncertain. But I'm grateful because the goodness of God strengthens me, it carries me, and it never leaves me. And for that I am so grateful. And for me, it's about declaring his goodness, like I said, in every situation. God, this is what my situation looks like, but you are so good. God, this is how I feel today, but you know what? You are so good, and I'm so grateful that you are with me through all of this. I'm so grateful that you stand with me, that you strengthen me, that you hold me, that you give me the ability to sit here and film even though I'm in so much pain and I don't have much energy. I'm grateful that you just give me that, your strength to push through and just to keep going and do it each day. Something I want to encourage you all to do, even if your situation is so hard and the situation you are facing doesn't look good, keep declaring his goodness. Keep trusting in him, and keep having that attitude of gratitude through whatever you face, because gratitude turns what you have into enough, and you realize that when you have God, you lack nothing. Trusting God in this also looks like leaning on prayer daily, and like it says in 1 Thessalonians 5:16, always rejoice, constantly pray, and in everything give thanks. And I feel like that verse just perfectly sums up all that I'm talking about as well, to always rejoice and always be grateful. Give thanks in all circumstances, even when the circumstances are hard and they don't look good, and constantly pray. And that verse doesn't say just pray a little bit, it's saying constantly pray. And for me, I think that means just pray through every single situation, every moment, and every single day, because prayer is our anchor, and we should never cease in prayer. It's where miracles happen. There's so much power in prayer, and it's where we get to talk to God, where we get to leave and surrender every outcome to him. And that is exactly what I do. When we'd finished that appointment, we just released it to God, me and my mum, and we just said, God, take this and just hold us through this moment. We just give it to you in this moment. And prayer is something that my mum has just so really taught me to lean on through all that I face. When I was in hospital, she would never leave me without, if she was going in the evening and leaving me for the night, she would never leave without praying. And she would pray in and through every situation. There was a situation, as I've spoken about before, when I was in resus, and my mum just shouted, stop, I have to pray. And the doctors were all around me. They all looked up and said, okay, well, we'll give you a minute. And when she prayed, my heart rate started to come down. You know, I was in recess, my heart rate was at 250 beats per minute and going up and up and up. And my mum was just like, stop, I have to pray right now. And something shifted. My heart rate did become, start to come down. And even the doctors were like, whoa, that was crazy, that was amazing. And yeah, my mum is a huge prayer warrior, and she's taught me to be such a prayer warrior as well, and just to pray in and through every situation, through every uncertain complication that I've been through, and just leave every outcome and surrender every outcome to him, and just to really lean on prayer as our anchor. There's been times when we've prayed full of confidence, and we've also prayed when it was the only thing that we had to lean on in that moment. And my mum can obviously definitely testify to that. When I was in London and the doctor brought down the news that I had a huge bleed and I had to be rushed to another hospital in recess, she was just like, what do I do in this moment? And the only thing that she could do in that moment was just to lean on the anchor and the goodness of prayer. And we continue to lean on prayer daily now too. I also believe that sometimes real trust isn't built when things are certain, or even when situations are safe or not good. Real trust is built when you don't have the answers, and when things maybe don't look good, but you choose to keep trusting and rely on him anyway, because the moments that stretch you and the moments that are uncertain are the moments that bring you and shape you and bring you ever closer to God and help you to lean on him. And also in uncertain situations and circumstances, will never change the depth of his goodness and power and faithfulness. So my encouragement to you from this video is just to, no matter what you're going through, just lean on him and trust. And God is saying to you today, and he's spoken to me, I know your pain, be patient and trust me. And I want to encourage you with that. No matter what you're going through, if you've got a loved one who is in hospital and who is really unwell, or if you yourself are like me, facing chronic illnesses or unwell, or you're going through a different situation, just keep trusting in God no matter what. Lean on prayer, lean on him and trust. And when you don't understand, trust in him and put your trust in him always. And I know that my job also in all of this is just to keep walking through each day in trust, through every symptom, complication and pain and time of uncertainty, in deep trust, because I know that no matter what, I will trust in him always, for I know that he sees me, he covers me, and he holds me through it all. And the same is true for you too. No matter what you are going through, trust in him always, because he loves you, he sees you, he holds you, and he is covering you and holding you and walking with you through it all. Keep leaning on the power of his word in what you are facing, because that is full of practical and good and powerful promises. Keep declaring his goodness in every single situation and saying, God, you are so good even in this. And being grateful and saying, God, I am so grateful for you. Even though I'm doing this, going through this, I'm choosing to be grateful, and I'm grateful because of you. I really hope this video has been an encouragement to you today. I know it was short and sweet, but I just pray that it has encouraged you in some way, whatever you are facing, whatever situation that you are going through, and it just encourages you to keep trusting in the Lord no matter what you are facing, no matter what you're going through, or no matter what your situation looks like. Just keep trusting in him, keep believing, and keep having faith in him, and just keep bringing it all to his feet, where you receive real peace, real truth and goodness. So yeah, I hope this video has encouraged you today and encouraged you and blessed your heart in some way, and I will see you in next week's video. God bless.